everybody. My name is Kate. I'm here with Amar. I mean, this is Amar's channel, of course. I sound like I'm taking over. No, this is a collaboration. This is a, dual effort. But today, we are going to be ranking our predictions for Game of the Year nominees, all 6, with some honorable mentions thrown in there. And yeah, because nominations are coming up pretty soon. It's currently November. We're recording this on November 10th. And so, we there's no word yet as of right now on the official date for when nominations will be announced, but it'll probably be sometime next week. So yeah, we're going to rank them 1 through 6 with, again, some honorable mentions just based on what we think is most likely to get nominated, with 6 being least likely, but still we think it'll be nominated. So yeah.
Yeah, so exciting. Game of the year. I mean, this is like a good time every year, it's
Yes,
always a fun time.
I love this time of the year. I love award shows. I love video games, and we're combining them and we can talk about it. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, where do you want to start? You want to start with just the most likely game to get
Yeah, we
nominated?
can start with number 1. Number 1, no shock to any person on this earth. I'm sure you will feel the same way. It is Expedition 33, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is a game that I don't want to say it'll win because, again, I think this year is very stacked, and I don't want to. I mean, everyone's been saying it'll win, kind of like the whole year, and I think it's definitely a high chance. But we can talk more about what we think will win and prediction winners, maybe in another video after nominations come out.
Yeah, because we'll have a bunch of other categories if you want to talk about those at the same time.
Yes, for sure. Maybe we can go through at some point what we voted for personally, when the nominations are released. But yeah, I think this is kind of the most obvious pick, one of the most obvious picks. This will definitely be nominated. It is a fantastic game. I find myself thinking about the gameplay so much. I don't know, that gameplay. I'm not really the biggest turn-based fan sometimes, but I don't know, just the parrying mechanics.
Yeah.
The gameplay, the gameplay was so smooth. I don't know. Shout out to them for making smooth gameplay, So yeah.
Yeah, I that is my number 1 as well. I mean, I think it's probably the most obvious. I do think it's gonna win.
Right.
So
okay, nice.
Yeah,
I think so too right now.
Yeah. I played half of it, so I don't have as much to say as you do but I did listen to you when you talked about the ending, which is
oh yes.
So I also think if going into I think it would also get nominated for best narrative. So
oh yeah, it is going to. Yeah, sorry, yeah, no, it's gonna. It's gonna sweep on nomination morning, or afternoon.
It's gonna get at least 10 nominations, I'm feeling. But yeah, I loved the battling mechanics. It just felt so. I don't know the right word. It just, the parrying was great.
Yeah.
But I played it on easy mode, so the parrying was easy as well. But
yeah,
I loved that. That's something you don't really see in games, especially in that type of format. It's normally action games you see parrying.
For sure.
I think the characters are really good, so that's also a plus. Voice acting is really good. I think one of the biggest things is it's a very surprising game. I don't think anyone was really talking about it at the beginning of this year to really be in the Game of the Year conversation.
Before it came out?
Well, in January. I mean, I don't know when it was
because I think people were definitely talking about it when it came out. I think the hype kind of started immediately.
I think
but before it came out, it was kind of just this random game.
I mean, it's kind of like an indie game in itself because I think it's a very small team. So
for sure,
I think it has a lot of narrative going behind it that it's gonna be it's an excellent game. So I agree, it deserves a spot, the top 6 or 10 games for the year.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think I did. So you mentioned it. I did finish the game.
Yeah.
I think in May, right after the semester ended for me. And yeah, it was, I really enjoyed the concept of like having to choose an ending. I think that was like a really fun sort of thing to do. I did watch like some gameplay afterwards, and I do think there's a lot of stuff I missed, which is kind of disappointing for me. I mean, not that it was like, like obscure. Okay, little on
Like
the nose
story
there.
stuff or like costumes.
One cutscene, it was like one of those
Mm.
black and white cutscenes, which are pretty important,
Yeah, they are.
that I never got. And I think I just probably missed it. Maybe I was going way too fast to the end. That's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But, I did overall finish the game. And I think, we'll talk about this more again when nominations happen, but I think the endings themselves, we'll probably get more into spoilers there too.
Yeah.
The endings themselves, like the way it like kind of tests your morality, and like the way you have to like really decide, you know, like what kind of morals that you want to stand on when it comes to the endings. I think, and like that sounds like it's like serious, that sounds like this is like I'm, making the decision of like, different countries, but like it really, what I'm trying to say in this like, very long drawn out statement is that, I like choices in games that really make you think. That's what I like, and I think the endings really succeeded that. It was very emotional, just like in general with how, as you said, like the voice acting and just how it was performed. Just a great game, really great game. I've seen a lot of people say, the glaze, it's kind of like too much, but I think it's deserving. I think it's a great game.
I
But
mean, yeah, it's
yeah,
one of the
again,
best games this year. I don't
for
know,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
what do people really want to say about? Like, it's a great game. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So, should we move on to number two?
we can, we can.
Which I think is the second. I think there's two guarantees when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the Game Awards, the Game of the Year nominees.
Mm-hmm.
It will be that game and Death Stranding 2. So yeah,
Ooh,
Death Stranding 2.
interesting. I have
Is
well,
it
I mean, I think Donkey Kong is Bonanza's more guaranteed to be nominated
more
this year.
guaranteed than
Mm-hmm.
Death Stranding 2 than Kojima?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I think
I
it's
mean, I
like,
think both of them will make it. Like, I don't. Death Stranding 2 is on my
well,
list,
yeah, okay,
but
yeah. We don't need to argue about this, okay? I'm sure Death Stranding 2 is somewhere on your
mm-hmm.
list, but it's kind of like, I don't know if anyone keeps up with the Oscars, but when it comes to the Oscars, every single year, every single time, a woman named Diane Warren will be nominated in Best Song. She puts out a song, it'll be in some random movie that you've never heard of and will never see,
Mm-hmm.
and she will get nominated. And that's because her relationship with the Academy voters is so incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can kind of see that reflected in Jeff Keighley and Hideo Kojima's relationship. Except I feel like it's more like Jeff wants to have that relationship, and Kojima's just like, all right,
I mean,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, I'm not,
he. I think Kojima like
yeah,
uses the platform well. Like,
yeah,
he gets the
yeah,
opportunity, he's gonna take it to show off his games, and
yeah. Like, what the objective fact is that Jeff Keighley loves Hideo Kojima. And we will see that reflected in this year's Game Awards, I think. And Death Stranding 2 got great reviews. It had discussion around it. It's, in general, just, it's the only game I think on this list I didn't play. But I do think it is, just based on what I know, what I've seen, it's worthy of, nominations. So, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I agree with what you said. I'll talk about that when I get to it on mine.
Yeah.
It's very close, but I have
Okay.
Donkey Kong Bonanza that high, just because
Okay.
it's made by the same 3D Mario team, so
Yeah.
I think that helps it a lot. Astrobot won last year, so I
Right.
know a game
Right.
like this can win if it's like Expedition 33 versus Donkey Kong at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a Switch 2 launch title, so not launch title. It's a Switch 2 game on a new platform. I think that adds a little bit to it because it is the must-buy Switch 2 game, I feel. And I
Yeah.
just think it's a really good game. I mean, I 100%ed it, which isn't something I normally do with these type of games. I mean, something I do with these type of games, but not games in general. So I just had a really good time with it. I think it's the second or third highest reviewed game this year. So I
Mm-hmm.
think there's just like the critics loved it. It had on Metacritic, if you go, there's no score under an 80 for it. So those are the people that are nominating the games. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that that in itself tells you that like they are gonna put it up there. And yeah, I just honestly that would be my game of the year. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's very interesting. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna win this year, but I just
I
like the game a
will.
lot.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean. I did not mean to interrupt. But yeah, I agree. Sorry, you want to finish what you were saying? I feel
No,
bad.
I just it's a critical thing. The Game Awards, it's not like my own opinion. It's the critics. They gave it great scores. I think it's gonna get nominated.
Yeah, I agree. I will say it is, in terms of Metacritic, it is the 8th highest rated
Hey,
game of the year, which is still pretty good. It's also tied with 3 other games that have a
okay.
91.
That
So
that
technically,
might
it
be
could be
where I
number
get it
6.
from.
It could be number 6 if you like just want to move it around a bit. But yeah,
I mean, I
I
guess also on that, I mean, I think some of those games probably have like a not as many reviews, and that's why they're so high on Metacritic.
um the ones that are also 91, they're pretty pop. I don't want to
Well,
spoil
no,
what they are, but they're
like
pretty
the ones that are
popular
like above it,
games.
because like on like Open Critic, it's
Oh,
like the second highest game on Open Critic, or the third one.
oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people use Metacritic.
Yeah,
But I see
but
what you're
a
saying. Metacritic is
91
kind
is
of like the
still
one I'll
high,
go
and
to.
91 is
Yeah,
a
for
good.
sure, for sure. And I will talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza soon
Hmm.
enough, I'm sure. But yeah, I agree with all your
Hmm.
points. Again, I'll get to that soon. But my number 2 was Death Stranding 2, which I already talked about. I'm now remembering. And yeah, I think we both are on similar
Hmm.
pages, basically. But should we move to number 3?
Yeah,
Is it time?
yeah.
Number 3, I originally did not have this in last night. When I was going through this
Hmm.
ranking, when I've been going through it for the past few days, um, but then I realized a little something called Metacritic. And I looked at that and I said, it's going in.
Hmm.
So number 3, I have Hades 2.
Yeah, I have Hades 2 at number 3 as well.
Yeah! Let's go! Number 3, same place.
This is honestly one of
Yeah,
the ones I didn't
so
know if we would agree on, so I'm
no,
surprised.
honestly, and I was on the fence about this up until last night. I didn't think it would make it literally just, 24 hours ago.
Hmm.
But I went to Metacritic, and the current number 1 and number 2 highest rated games of the year are The Legend of Zelda Switch 2 Edition and Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition. So
Hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2, Breath of the Wild Switch 2. And
Yeah.
obviously, those are games that have previously released. They don't really count. They're not going to be nominated. And number 3 is Hades 2 with a
Wow.
95 on Metacritic, not even close to number 4, which is Expedition 33. Well, it's close, but Expedition
Hmm.
33 is a 92. So that's a 95, and I think something like that cannot go ignored. You know,
Yeah.
I think point blank, it just has to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And, people love it. It had talk. I think the one thing maybe kind of possibly pulling it down is the fact that it was in early access for such a long time.
Hmm.
So it kind of feels like a game that's kind of already been released, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, put that aside. It's here. This was a game that was announced at the Game Awards. This is a game that's shown up in most anticipated game
Hmm.
category. So I feel like it has a really good chance, just the fact that it is such a great game. Hades was nominated at the Game Awards, the first game,
Yeah.
and the Metacritic score is just too high to, I think, be ignored. So yeah.
Yeah. I the pretty much the same points. I I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, it's like I think of the new games, it's the highest rated. Is that what you said? Of new games that released
Yes.
this year. So I think, it's a big IP, not a big IP, but Hades is well known within the gaming industry. So I think it makes sense to be there. The only thing that you said, like, you think it being in early access hurts it. I think also it's not on every console right now. It's only on the Switch
Okay.
and PC.
Well,
So
yeah, it's also on Mac. I've been playing it
yeah,
on Mac.
So I mean, I don't know if that hurts it at all because it's not
Um,
as accessible to everyone.
I mean, Death Stranding 2 isn't on every console, is it?
No, I mean Donkey Kong Bonanza isn't on every console
Donkey
either.
Kong Bonanza is only on the Switch too, you know, so
Yeah,
that right
but
there,
I
yeah.
think I haven't played it. I have the pre-order for it for the physical edition, so I'm gonna wait for that. But
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think just looking at it objectively, it has amazing scores. I think it's met up. I think it's matched the hype that was going into it, the release. And I think
Yeah.
that helps it a lot too. So yeah, you know, I think it's probably I think Donkey Kong and Expedition 33 like my guarantees, but Hades 2 is a very close guarantee in my opinion to being
Yeah.
nominated.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, everything you've said, I just think it has a really good chance, especially given Metacritic. So yeah. Should we move on to number
Mm-hmm.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Go on further down. Number 4, I have um oh, actually my number 3 my number 3 was this one. My number 4 was Hades 2.
Mm.
Doesn't matter. You know what? We'll switch it up. We'll switch it
Mm-hmm.
up. I think Hades 2 has a very strong chance, so we'll put it at number 3 now. Number 4, I'm putting Silk Song. I'm putting Silk Song.
Yeah,
Hollow Knight Silk
I
Song.
have it there. Well, actually, I don't know if I I have it on my list, but I think I have Death Stranding 2 higher than it in my opinion.
Okay, so what's your number 4?
Well, no, Death Stranding. I think Death
Oh,
Stranding
Death
is my
Stranding
number
2 is your
4,
number
and then
4.
Hollow Knight
Okay.
would a spoiler. It would be my number 5.
Okay, we'll get into that soon enough. Okay, yeah, so I feel very strongly about this. I think, Metacritic high, 91,
Mm-hmm.
right above Donkey Kong. And I think something we also should take into account too is just the level of just discussion and hype around it, because I think that really can impact the way at least Game Awards voters do
Mm-hmm.
view what they nominate. How the gaming community, that sounds so cringe to say, but how the gaming community responded to a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this something that was very much talked about, hyped about? Was it like a main discussion for months in some cases, and that is the case right here with Silksong. This is a game that's been in development since February 2019, right? That's how long we've known about it, and it
Yeah.
finally came out, and it lived up to and surpassed so many expectations. It wasn't just Hollow Knight 2. It took the gameplay and changed it in so many different ways while creating this story that was very much different. And it's kind of like you take like Breath of the Wild, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
have Tears of the Kingdom, right? And I do like both games, but story wise, it is very much the same format,
Yeah.
right? You wake up, you have to collect memories, you have to go to the 4 different regions, and then you fight Ganon,
Yeah.
right? Like, it was the same format. But this one, Silksong has acts. There's a secret third act. Like,
What? There's a secret
it's
third act.
well, there's an act 3, okay? It's doing something very different, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that is something. Oh my goodness, sorry, hit my desk. But yeah, it was something that was very much discussed about,
Mm-hmm.
talked about. People love it. I don't see a world where this gets ignored in the Game Awards.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it in just a minute, but I
Yeah, you can
also
talk about Death
I
Stranding
agree with all
too.
your stuff you said about Death Stranding 2 earlier as well. Obviously, that's one of the games I also haven't played this year, so I can't say any personal anecdotes to why I think it will get nominated. But just looking
Mm-hmm.
at it, I think it scored higher than the original Death Stranding, which I think helps because Death Stranding was also nominated in 2019. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd be kind of weird for that to get nominated, not this. That
Right,
that
right.
that could be the Kojima bias. The Game Awards may or may not have. I'm not gonna say anything on that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it has an 89 on Metacritic, so obviously, again, critics liked it. I think I've
Yeah,
heard that people think it's a lot better than Death Stranding with the gameplay and everything. So
yeah.
I think it just makes sense for that to be nominated. Um, Again, I don't think it's gonna win, but I think like when we go to like talk about like in the future when we get find out all the nominees, I'm sure it's gonna get like a bunch of like acting nominees and nominations and like the best narrative nominations and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna deserve its spot when it happens when those award announcements come out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think I already talked about Death Stranding too, so I don't need to touch on that more. Should we move on to
number 5?
What's next? Number 5. Number 5. This is where I have Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah.
Ooh. Well, this is why this is where I have Hollow Knight Silksong.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I could talk about Bonanza for a second. I was a little on the fence about this. It never like left my ranking per se, but it was something that I was kind of like, I don't really know. But what I mean by that is, I just feel like it's a stacked year. You know, like maybe some other stuff could have squeezed in, and there was no Nintendo nomination last year, right? I was actually in one of my classes this morning, and I was like, I could only remember Balatro being nominated for Game of the Year. I was like, well, what were the other 5, you know? And I was able to think of 5 out of 6 by the end. I couldn't get Metaphor, sorry. But that did take the whole hour of the class trying to remember what they were. But yeah, so no Nintendo last year. But I do think Astrobot kind of makes up for that. You know, like, there was like a sort of kid-friendly family game at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, last year I did think Echoes of Wisdom would get nominated. But that was maybe more so like not thinking through it. I don't know.
I think that was definitely on like people's. I don't know what the right word is, but like that was probably close to being one of the games that got nominated. Like was on the cutoff.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
like if there were 7, probably would have been in there. But yeah, so I think there's a pretty good chance this gets in. It's it's kind of like what you said. It's a very great game. Like it's a game that a lot of people love. It's like a 3D. It's basically just a new Mario Odyssey, right? But it's just Donkey Kong. It's a 3D platformer that people can really get behind, and I think it was a great introduction to what the Switch 2 kind of has to offer. And yeah, I think it'll get in. I think it'll definitely get in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say for Donkey Kong. I think I said
you
enough
can talk
about it.
Your Silksong.
I mean, honestly, when I was making my list, and like if you would ask me what I would think Silksong would like, if Silksong would be a guaranteed nomination before it came out, I think I would have said yes. I'm a little bit more on the fence on it now. Not
Silksong?
because which is I know that's interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting. I know.
No,
but
it's not even just you. A lot of people are also on the fence about it, which I find fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I started it, so but I'm still trying to play through the original Hollow Knight, so I can't say much about like my own opinions on it just yet. But I think obviously I think it's a 91 on Metacritic. So again, speaking to the critics, they obviously loved the game. But I think I've heard some like backlash about how difficult it is, and that's hurting some like the perception of it a little bit. I'm not sure if that's true or not about.
I understand that. I think you do start the game with a very bad down pogo, whatever you want to call it. It is very bad, but you do get a crest that gives you the down slash from the first game pretty quickly. The only kind of difficulty I can see people talking about is that very early on, enemies do kind of take 2 hearts instead of 1 or something like that, 2 lives, and it is kind of pretty intense. But again, like I feel like you get used to it pretty quickly. Like you do level up, and you do not level up, but you do like power up, I guess. And like it becomes a bit of an easier experience. So I understand those criticisms, but I feel like people are making those criticisms in like the first hour or 2 of the game, and yes, that can kind of hurt like the experience at first and make people maybe not want to finish it or keep playing. But I think it's just one of those things you just kind of have to keep going at, and I think that is the experience of a lot of video games. I think that is a great video game that's like you have to get better, instead of just being easy immediately. But again, that's just my opinion. I do understand that concern. I think it definitely can hurt it a little bit, but I still feel like it'll definitely get the nomination.
I mean, it might be a little hypocritical that I said Hades 2 is a little higher than this, because I think Hades 2 also has that same like thing where you have to just keep playing it and getting better at it.
For sure.
But I think I just heard a lot of better things just on the like back end of after they released about Hades 2 than compared to Silksong. And I think also Silksong only has 42 reviews, so I don't know if everyone like would be nominating the teams have played it, and then what their opinions of it are if they haven't reviewed it, whatever. I think a 91 still gets it in, but the last thing is I don't really hear much about Silksong anymore after release.
I mean, yeah, but you can say that about all of
Yeah,
these games.
but that's just
You know,
surprising. It's after how long we've been waiting for it, there isn't really a lot of discussion about it anymore.
honestly, I feel like we were talking about it for like a month after though, which is
Yeah,
pretty substantial.
you're right. You're right.
I mean, definitely more than most games. You
Yeah.
know, I
I
feel
mean,
like,
I
but
think
yeah,
Donkey Kong. A lot of people aren't even talking about Donkey Kong anymore, and I
no,
think it's
no one's talking about Death Stranding 2. You know, like, yeah,
yeah. But I think it's gonna get nominated. I like
yeah.
if you. I think the game below this obviously has a lesser chance, so
Me too.
it's in a very high. It's in a secure spot, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think our number sixes. I mean, this is just for me. I don't know if you feel similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shot in the dark. You're
Yeah, I
not
think
going
there's
to
like
agree.
6 games that could be here, if I'm being
No,
honest.
truly, there are
Mm-hmm.
so many games that could fit this number six spot. I don't think anyone's going to agree with me
Mm-hmm.
with what I put here, but we might as well jump into it. And I'm going to keep as serious a composure as I can to let you know I am not playing around. Okay, I truly believe in the hope of this. I think number six will be Dispatch.
Ooh.
Hello, Kate from the future here. Just dropping in while I'm editing this to clarify on some points I'm going to make. Because when we record this video, the final episodes for Dispatch, episodes 7 and 8, had not released yet. So, right now, they have released, and I think they weren't universally hated, which is what matters. And right now, the Metacritic score is at an 89, which puts it at the 9th highest rated game of the year, according to Metacritic. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify on that. I also wanted to say that I'm seeing a lot of pushback on the fact that the game might have been released too late with the episodic releases. We touched on this for a second, but I wasn't aware of how strong this would be in kind of the debates on what will be nominated and what won't be. And I want to say, if that is something that you're worried about, the final episodes released on November 12th. God of War Ragnarok released November 9th, and it still got nominated. I really don't think it matters. Plus, the game came out. I mean, the first episodes came out in October. I don't think it matters, but I just want to clarify that with some updated knowledge. And yeah. Say it.
It's Split Fiction.
Yeah! Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you played that game in its completion.
yeah.
So I was
And
like,
I mean,
well, I played it with you. I was there.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So like, I can talk about it because I played it. Like,
Yeah,
compared to
you
other
go
games.
first because I'll probably go on for
Mhm.
much longer.
I mean,
What
I
I do
think.
want to get out of the way, though,
Mhm.
is that we don't have Ghost of Yote here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and like normally, like there is a Sony nomination, but I think that's Death Stranding 2 this year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
Well, we can get into that later. You
yeah,
can talk about
Split
your
Fiction.
Split Fiction first.
Now you did talk about recency when when you mentioned Dispatch. I think that could hurt Split Fiction. It did release in March, so
True.
we're 8 months from that. But I just think it's the what's his name, Joseph has such a connection to the Game Awards. I think that helps him a little bit with getting nominated here. But I just think the game is really good. It got good reviews. It has a 91 on Metacritic, I believe. So a lot of 91s this year, which makes ranking these kind of hard. But um, I think the story was fun. I think the mechanics are pretty fun. I think it's a lot different than It Takes Two, which helps it in some ways because it innovates on that idea. Um, you know, it's not a super long game either, and I think the multiplayer aspect of it also helps because more people are able to play it, more people are able to talk about it. And yeah, I think there is probably some bias because I did play it compared to other games. So like when I'm balancing out like what I think will get nominated, I have Split Fiction or Yote. I haven't played any of Yote, so Split Fiction gets my 6th spot.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, again, as I said, many games probably deserve that spot. Split
For
Fiction is
sure.
just
Yeah.
the way I choose.
I definitely agree that it has a very strong chance. It's I'll talk about it soon when we get to honorable mentions. We did play this in its completion. Well, almost completion. We did not
I mean,
finish.
we could always go back and try that level.
We
Like,
should go back and try, but I just feel like, I don't know, like, not to be shady, but I feel like you're just never gonna get past that laser part. You
I
know the
mean,
one?
I was always playing on remote play, so maybe I moved my PS5
I would
easier.
always, yeah, I would always be like, okay, there's a strategy to it. Just
Yeah,
jump,
and I
do
would just
this.
keep
It's the
jumping, you know? I would
timing.
just keep
And you
jumping.
just would never get it. Okay, we should go back to that eventually,
Hmm.
though. You know what? We'll go back to it if it gets nominated. How about that?
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll make that like the little bet of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, I'll talk about Split Fiction soon, but I am going to talk about Dispatch right now. So yes, you might be like, Kate, you are obsessed with this game. This is all recency bias. This is bias that you just like the game. And yes, you can make that argument, and maybe it's true. But I also feel like we have to take into consideration many different things, right? First thing up, Metacritic, right?
Hmm.
Right now, at the time of this recording, the final episodes have not released. So that could be a factor, right?
Yeah.
There's a chance that those final episodes do not stick the landing and suck. We should consider that. But at the same time, and I probably will comment on this video if, the final episodes do in some scenario suck,
Hmm.
then I'll be like, I'm swapping in Split Fiction. Okay? Like that's
Wow.
that's what I'll do. And then that means
Hmm.
we'll have the same top 6. Oh my goodness. Wow, we're basically we're almost on the same page. But yeah, I think but I don't think there's a very high chance that they suck though.
Hmm.
Because one thing to take into consideration, the first thing, the amount of discussion around this game is so incredibly strong,
Yeah.
right? And wait, I feel like I just mentioned Metacritic and then I didn't even talk about it. Did I do that?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Okay, let's talk about Metacritic. Metacritic right now it's at an 84, which isn't that bad.
hmm.
You take into account Ghost of Yotei is at an 86. Ghost of Tsushima got nominated with an 83. Black Myth Wukong got nominated last year with an 81. You know,
Hmm.
like it's really in that range of like it's not like it's in that range of like you have a solid chance. I feel like people love this game, right? I mean, obviously, you're gonna have the critics online that are like, well, actually, it's not that good, which is fine, whatever. Everyone can have their criticisms, but I feel like that kind of gets overshadowed by the
Hmm.
amount of just discussion and overall excitement around it. And I think the fact that it is being released over the course of 4 weeks really stretches out that
Yeah.
discussion into something that is so important because people are talking about this all the time. This is such a popular game right now. It just sold like 1 million, copies, which Jeff Keighley tweeted about. I don't know if that means anything. But, you know, I feel like there's so much discussion around this. There's so much hype, and obviously discussion and hype don't mean everything, but the reviews are solid as well. And
Hmm.
again, of course, whether that goes, I mean, even if it drops to like a 79, maybe I'll get a little scared, but like I don't think it will. If anything, it could go up after the final episode's release.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important to consider like one of the main things that people are really talking about with this game is the Telltale sort of aspect of it, right? People are like, oh, Telltale is back.
Hmm.
Story choice-based games are so back, and I'm obviously not saying that this is like the first choice-based game in forever, and like people haven't had anything to play in a long time. We just had Lost Records earlier this year, but this is a very similar sort of, bringing back to life of that, very nostalgic Telltale style. The Walking Dead, for example, that had a 79 and
Hmm.
got nominated at the Game Awards, and that was a very, prominent sort of thing there. And obviously that was a very long time ago, but what I am trying to say is that Telltale has had their presence,
Yeah.
right? So I think just the fact that the discussion is around, Telltale being back, there's so much love around it. The discussion is still going. The Metacritic score is pretty strong. I think there's a much higher chance than people think there is for this game.
Yeah. I agree. Um, the discussion for is the reason why I bought it. I just haven't started it yet because I'm waiting for those two
Yeah,
episodes to
that's
come
fair.
out before
That's
just so I
fair.
can play through it straight. Um, and like
I
you're talking
mean,
about the reviews,
yeah,
I think that score is gonna go up once those two episodes come out, and then people start
yeah,
publishing their actual like full on reviews. I can see
yeah,
some of the current reviews changing, maybe higher scores
yeah.
after those. So I think it has a good chance. I think it might be coming out a little too late for people to be able to play it and then nominate it. I think that's the one thing that might hurt it
I mean,
overall.
yeah, but the cutoff is December, you know?
I think the cutoff is next Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. The last episode comes out in 2 days. So, you know, I don't think it'd be fair to have a cutoff and then that would like hurt the game. I think if there's going to be a cutoff, then it should be like an earlier cutoff,
Yeah.
you know, to be more honest. So I understand your argument for sure. And I also just don't think, you know, if that would hurt it, they would maybe be more honest about that and make it an earlier cutoff.
Though I don't actually know how this cutoff works because I think the cutoff is on like Thursday or Friday, but we are expecting the nominations also next week.
Wait, let
So
me look this up. Award.
I think last year the cutoff was like the 20th of November.
I mean, yeah, I think. I mean, also like it depends. Like, are we counting like when the first episode released or the last one? The cutoff point for nomination is late November.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be in that cutoff period. It's just it depends on how many people play it before then. I think because those are the
Yeah.
people that are nominating it for Game of the Year. So I think it's gonna
But
get good
even then,
scores.
like, it is something that is being released weekly, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you do have the game. You've had the game since October, you know? So,
Yeah.
but I do understand your point for sure, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of my runner-ups. So that's why I talked about it here, because I do think if it sticks the landing, I think it has a pretty good chance of like being in front of, in my opinion, like Split Fiction or Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I also think, you know, given the fact that it is such a stacked voice cast, right? I think there's a very high chance we see nominations for Aaron Paul or Laura Bailey or both in the performance category. I think, you know, we'll probably see a nomination for narrative. And I just think there's a very high chance, you know, because the voice act cast is so high. I mean, they presented this at the Game Awards last year. You know, they had Aaron Paul come out and be like, "Hey, I'm here with Laura Bailey." You know, maybe even just for the fact of like the prospect of having Aaron Paul be nominated for Game of the Year and then bringing him back out. You know, like just something like that, or even like someone like Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical. I don't know, Moist Critical's probably not going to be there, but you know, Jacksepticeye or other people that are nominated in that game that are you know big names. Jeffrey Wright's in the game. You know, like these big names that could show up. You know, I think they'll acknowledge that when you know thinking about nomination processing. Hopefully that's not like cheating. You know?
I mean, going back a little bit to Expedition, I think that also could play in there. I think
For
they're gonna have a couple of
sure.
Expedition
Oh,
actors be
yes.
nominated, or actresses.
Oh
be
yeah, we could
nominated.
probably honestly call the category right now. We're gonna have Verso, Charlie Cox. Okay, Verso's not the guy. It's Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Aaron Paul, Laura Bailey, and then what? There's like one more.
And
Let's look another
maybe
one.
someone from
Oh, then the guy
Yote.
from. No, not. Oh wait, yeah, probably Yote. Okay, wait. Okay, that's an entirely different video.
Or Death Stranding. Like maybe they extend this category this year.
Troy Baker gets in. I don't know. He'll just be like, Troy Baker.
I mean, Indiana Jones is also possible for a nomination this year. He could get in for twice if they really want to give him 2 nominations.
2 nominations. Troy Baker, you're nominated for Death Stranding 2 and your DLC, Indiana Jones. Congratulations. So yeah, I think I made my argument of.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's probably more likely it'll be something else, but I feel like we are going to see a curveball, and I want to predict that curveball. You know what I mean? I don't know. But no, I mean, it sounds like, you know, well, if you think something's more likely, why are you not predicting that? Because I do feel I am going to make my argument, my case. That's going to be Dispatch at number 6.
I think it has a very good chance. I'm not going to lie about it. I think it's a very good chance.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think the chance is higher than people think. So. Should we get into honorable mentions? I have 3 honorable mentions. Let's talk about Ghost of Yote.
Yeah, I think that's the most obvious one.
Yeah, that's I talked about this for a second. We do not have it here. I kind of thought you would have it, but no, we have let it not show. That's the thing. There are just too many good games. And the thing about Ghost of Yote is that it truly came and went, which is really depressing. But I feel like this game came out and like just no one really talked about it after like a week, you know? Yeah. And the discussion I see about it now, I did some like kind of researching online. There are people that feel very confident and it'll show up in the same way, you know, you feel confident your favorite game will show up, you know what I mean? but I also feel like I've seen a lot of discussion that it's just very disappointing in comparison to the first game, which is pretty, disappointing to hear. But yeah, so I've just seen that online, and the Metacritic itself is an 86, which isn't bad, not bad.
I mean, it is higher than Dispatch. Well, no, is it higher than Dispatch?
It's higher than Dispatch right now. Yeah, because Dispatch is on 84. But yeah, I'll be watching that Metacritic. So. I'll be watching that Metacritic score for the next few days. But yeah, I really feel like there's just, kind of, I just feel like it just kind of came and went. I've seen people say it's kind of like a disappointing experience, which again, I haven't finished it. I haven't really made my own opinion on that yet. But I kind of feel like if it does get nominated, it's kind of going to be like the Spider-Man 2 of the Game Awards, where like there is like kind of a strong fan base surrounding it, but it never wins anything, which is sad, because I think
Spider-Man 2 had like 10 nominations in 2023. Yeah, I don't think it won any of them.
I don't think it's the same in because we knew Spider-Man 2 would be nominated, you know what I mean? But like, we don't know about this, and I think it's gonna miss. Yeah.
I mean, I was going back and forth. Like, obviously, I mentioned Dispatch already. That's something that came up a lot later than I thought. When I was thinking about everything, Split Fiction and Yote were the two that I was really going back and forth on. Just because, I talked about Death Stranding 2. Technically, Ghost of Yote did the same thing, where it is better received in terms of like the Metacritic score, and like from the critical perspective, like the people that reviewed it and everything. So if Ghost of Tsushima was nominated, Ghost of Yote, I think having that better score, better reception makes it a lot more likely to get nominated. But I like you said, I just haven't really seen many people talking about it. Same thing with like other games, but I think those other games obviously have a lot more backing behind them than Yote has. Just with, I think Yote did come out maybe a little later than maybe it should have, in terms of, I think a lot of people already had their mindset on a couple of these games already to be nominated this year.
Right.
And so
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nominated, but
yeah, I would be a little surprised. I don't know, just given how stacked the category is. I feel like kind of what you were saying about Ghost of Tsushima, I feel like that was nominated, and again, because it came out in a year during, quarantine. It came out in a time where there was just nothing really to do, and there was this next big Sony IP, this new Sony IP that was coming out, where it just seemed really exciting. And it was, right? And so I feel like it was nominated because, again, 2020, a time of just complete isolation, there was nothing really being released other than like that and like The Last of Us 2, right? And other games here and there, of course. So I don't know. I feel like
that year Animal Crossing got nominated, and I don't know if people would have really thought Animal Crossing could get nominated at the Game Awards.
Right, like if Animal Crossing New Horizons came out this year, I don't think he'd get nominated, right? I feel like Donkey Kong would have a better chance. So like that's kind of like my argument here, like I just feel like
2020 was a weaker year.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think that definitely helped it. But in this year, that's 5 years later, very stacked. I don't know if the chances are as high.
I mean, again, it's gonna get nominated at some point for something.
For sure, it'll probably get nominated for performance. But yeah. All right. I have Split Fiction in my honorable mentions as well. Do you have anything?
Well, I already talked about Dispatch, so you can talk about Split Fiction here, and then we can do the third one after.
Yeah, I have Split Fiction. It's kind of like what you were saying. When this game first came out, everyone was like, this is getting nominated for Game of the Year, right? You have the studio that it's very close to the Game Awards. It has a very high Metacritic score. It's getting nominated. But as we've said multiple times in this video, it's just a very stacked year. And I think there are many games that have come out that had more attention, more discussion. And at the end of the day, it is just kind of doing what It Takes Two was doing in terms of gameplay. Not entirely, obviously. It does do many things different. But at the same time, it is just a co-op game, right? It's just the kind of game that we've seen before in terms of the kind of foundation of that gameplay. And so I'm not saying, I mean, obviously, like, Hades 2 is getting nominated when it does, Hades gameplay, right? So I'm not saying that, like, games that do similar gameplay can't get nominated. What I am saying is I feel like in a year where there are games that have had higher Metacritic scores come out, more discussion, and just more games come out that I think, maybe just are more exciting to get around. I just feel like there's a higher chance for other games. I would honestly, I mean, like, it definitely is number 6. In, like, if I had to swap out Dispatch, I would put Split Fiction in there. That's what I mean by that. It's not my number 6. It's my number 7, honestly. But yeah, so that's what I mean by that. But I do think it has a good chance. Honestly, it can go either way. I'm just putting it a little lower because I feel like the discussion, the fact that it came out so long ago at this point, like kind of what you were saying about recency. I just think more things have come out throughout the year that have kind of overshadowed it. So yeah.
I mean, the last thing, I mean, they did win Game of the Year with It Takes Two. So
That's true.
there is, that I think Split Fiction, if it's as good, and it was like its previous game was a Game of the Year winner, why wouldn't it be nominated?
It Takes Two got.
I think it has an 88 on Metacritic.
Oh really?
Don't
tell me that. It is an 88. Wow, a little lower than I thought.
And maybe that also helps it out. It is 3 points higher than It Takes Two.
It could.
But I feel like I'm Ride or Die on Dispatch
at this point. Yeah, honestly, I think so too. Because I mean, like, yes, like Clear Obscure also came out earlier in the year, Expedition 33. But I feel like that discussion, like, honestly, like, that's a good way to compare it. Expedition 33 and Split Fiction, both games kind of came out around similar times, right? Earlier, first third of the year. Expedition 33 is still getting talked about constantly. Meanwhile, Split Fiction, not so much, right? So I think that's one way to talk about it and, like, kind of look at it in that perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Should we go into number 3? Yes. Wait, what was you already talked about? Do you want to talk about Dispatch for a second?
I mean, I think I agree with you with everything you said about Dispatch earlier. I think once all the reviews come out, probably between, like, Wednesday and, I don't know, next Wednesday, it'll probably be like a 88, 89, I think.
Yeah.
Which will help it a lot. Especially once the bigger outlets release their reviews, because they are the ones that are nominating these games.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I wouldn't be just like I think any of these games, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a spot from another game I've ranked in my top 6. I think it could get a spot. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be at the awards in some form.
Yeah, for sure. I just hope my man Jeff Keighley recognizes that it should be a Game of the Year nominee. I feel like there's such a good chance. I don't know. I'm really ride or die on this. Should we go to number 3? We go to number 3?
We can go to
My number 3 is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And this is the only game on this list that I really know absolutely nothing about.
See, I am in the same position. That is my number 3. But it reviewed well, but, like, I have no idea what Kingdom.
That's the thing. Like, with all these games, I'm like, okay, I'm, like, somewhat... Like, the only game I have not played on the list in whole is Death Stranding 2, but I'm aware of what that is, right? Yeah. Like, I know what it's about. I have no idea what Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is about. I could, gun to my head, you couldn't tell me, But, like, every time I'm, like, looking at, like, Game of the Year nomination predictions, right? The comments are always like, what about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? What about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? And I'm like, what is this? Like, I honestly feel like the fact that, like, I don't know what this game... Maybe I'm just, like, too, like, in my own head about it. I'm like, well, if I don't know what it is, then, like, it's not gonna get nominated. But I feel like I could have at least seen a video.
Yeah.
Like...
like...
No, I've never even seen a TikTok about it. Like, I don't know. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know if the discussion is there, if the hype is there, really.
It seems like...
Let me look up what...
I mean, like, compared to, like, games that, like, are known, I think that, like, this game... Like, IP-wise, I don't think a lot of people know about it. So...
No, yeah.
It's just, like...
I kind of just... Yeah, sorry.
No, I just don't know. Like, it could be, and, like... But that would be... I'd be surprised just to see it. Maybe it
But yeah,
deserves it, but I would like just to see it
yeah,
be nominated.
that's the thing. I'm sure it's a great game. You know, I've absolutely nothing against it. I just feel like also I looked it up. It came out February 4th,
Yeah,
and
maybe that
that's
hurts it a little bit.
definitely that. I think that definitely hurts it. You know, the fact that it's been just so long.
Yeah.
I kind of just put on this list because I just see every time I hear predictions, everyone's just like, "What about Kingdom Deliverance?" And I'm like, I don't know. What about it? You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Again, no shade to that game. I'm sure it's great, but I just feel like, you know, I think I can definitely see Ghost of Yotei or Split Fiction getting in there. I can't see
Yeah.
Kingdom Deliverance. Maybe we'll eat our words in a week, but I don't know.
When it's nominated 10 times at the Game Awards.
It
But
gets all the
yeah,
nominees.
like there's games that like it's probably better than, but like I could see a Monster Hunter Wilds getting nominated before just because people know
Okay.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Did that come out this year?
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
Or
okay.
like the Indiana Jones game, since it missed the cutoff last year, can get nominated this year. I could see that
Oh,
just because more people would know the Indiana Jones game, I think, than Kingdom Come Deliverance. That it's just like
yeah.
I think people not knowing it as well does hurt it.
Yeah, something else that we didn't talk about, but I do want to bring up really quickly is Blueprints,
Yeah.
which I did play for a quick sec
Did you
this
like it?
summer. I it's I mean it's a good game, you know. It's a puzzle-based game. I never really understood it personally. I never finished it,
Yeah.
but it is number 5 on Metacritic. It has the same meta score as it's called as Expedition 33 in 92. So I think that is something to kind of take into account. But at the same time, you know, like I don't really see a game like this in a year like this making it. I think it'll definitely get nominated in many other categories, like best puzzle game, you know, but
like
or
best
strategy
indie
game.
and stuff.
Yeah, but I just don't see it making it today. Sorry to say.
Something that I think hurts it as well. We said Silk Song and Hades 2 get nominated, and those are two indies. I don't know if they're gonna put like a third indie
Right.
into the Game of the Year nominees.
Right.
So again, it's
Right.
probably really good. I think I've watched a couple people play it and it looks really fun. But
Well, isn't Dispatch a indie?
yeah, but I mean,
Well, it's
in
different.
my
It's like
rankings,
it's
I
like
think
total.
Silk Song
It's not
drops out for
different.
Dispatch, if I'm being honest. But
You think you think Dispatch would swap with Silksong?
yeah, if Dispatch got nominated, I could see
That's cray
Silk
cray.
Song. I don't know, like I probably just heard different things than you on Silk Song, but it just doesn't seem like there's been as much excitement as I thought there would be for Silk Song after it released.
Man, maybe I'm looking at like a different place than you too, because I feel like there was a lot of excitement. So
I
like
mean,
I don't
it's
know.
possible. I mean, it broke the Steam page for like an hour when it came out, so I think I don't know. I mean, I think my 6 are like most likely to get nominated. If one of the two were to fall, like if something were to fall out, I think it's Split Fiction or Silk
Silksong?
Song. And I think, in my opinion, just because I don't know, Silk Song has so much hype around it, but again, I just haven't heard much about it since it released. So
I feel like Dispatch would fall out for me. I don't know. I think Silksong will make it at the end of the day. One
stuff.
thing I want to mention before we go, Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh,
I've seen some discussion around this, just given that's Elden Ring.
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna make it. I know, like, yes, Elden Ring has had a lot of love in the past, but I also just think, you know, it wasn't that much of like, at least as far as I'm aware, wasn't like a very universally loved or
Mm-hmm.
excited out game. So I don't know about it, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, with Night Rain, I think it has like in the like low 80s on Metacritic, so that probably hurts it a little bit. But I think
Yeah.
it's also like you said, I don't think it's as loved as like the first game or like the DLC that got nominated last year. So
Hmm.
in a year like this, when there's so many good games, like I mean, I last year I had a bunch of good games too, but I think
Yeah.
it's just too strong this year for something like a
Honestly,
Night Rain to show up. Just because there's so much, I think there's bound to be a curveball here.
yeah.
Because if this was a year with only 6 games that were like the top of the top, I mean, I don't know. We haven't talked about it, but do you think they maybe extend the amount of games that could get nominated this year?
Oh, you think they do like 7? That'd be crazy. I don't think they do that. That'd be crazy though.
Yeah, I was thinking
Or
maybe
maybe
like
they
8.
change it to
But
like 8. What if they change? Oh my god, what if Jeff's like on nomination morning? It's like, the games this year were so good, we've decided to expand the category to 8 nominations. That'd be a gag. But I mean, maybe they'll change it to like the Oscars where it's like 10 Best Picture nominees. It'll be like 10 games.
the thing with
Imagine like the
that, I think
orchestra
they,
just going through it all.
I think they make it too big. Then if there's a year where there's like not as many good games, then you're gonna get like a couple of games that maybe
Yeah.
aren't really being not like talked about, and then it's like weird to go back from the 10
Yeah,
to
because then it's like,
6.
well, was this year not good then?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I mean, I could see like maybe one edition or 2 editions, but I don't think they're actually gonna do that this year. I think they like their 6. I think the game of the I think the 6 that are nominated for game of the year is like the most already in the show. So
Yeah.
I think it
I
makes
mean,
sense.
at the end of the day, like with guarantee, when the nominations for game of the year are done, one of us or both of us will be like, no, this game, like what? Oh my god, they didn't nominate this. Like it's gonna happen because there's just so much that could happen. So
When Split Fiction and Silk Song don't get nominated, that's just gonna be crazy.
When Kingdom Come Deliverance makes it in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited for this year, though.
I'm very excited. Yeah, I cannot wait. When is the presentation? When is the game
December
of the year?
12th.
December 12th. All right.
Yeah, very.
All right.
Just over a month away.
Like a month. That's like a month away. Yeah.
Yesterday.
They usually do it. Like, sorry. Yeah.
No, I was saying like they made a joke on like their social media accounts about how 33 days away. People were saying like, oh, is that a hint that Expedition 33 is gonna win Game of the Year? But
yeah, those are our 6 Game of the Year predictions for the nominees, along with our honorable mentions, of course. And yeah, we will see you on nomination morning or afternoon or night, wherever you are in the world. And I hope I am correct in at least 5 out of 6. That would be a dream.
Yeah.
Or 6 out of 6. Let's get Dispatch in there.
Or 7 out of 7 or 8 out of 8. We never know. Or that could be.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be so funny if it's like nomination morning? We're adding them. We're adding nominations. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm excited. Yeah. But that is all. I mean, again, we'll see everyone for voting and nominations, everything. But I hope you all enjoyed this video and put down your own comments. Put down your own nominations in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Make sure to make you happy because that rhymes with generic happy. And yeah, goodbye.
Bye.